Hello there, young brothers and sisters. Welcome to the channel. Give me a second. Yeah, I look at myself, look at my fat neck right there. That's a sign that you're an old man. That's a sign that you have gotten old. I make these videos because I believe there's something to be offered to you young men and to the women alike that come to kind of get an understanding of what's going on in the world. You know, when I was a young boy, I was subjected to some sexual things. I didn't know nothing about it. And rather than for me to concede to it, rather than me to surrender to it, I would sometimes fight the person that was trying to have sex with me or whatever they were trying to do. Sometimes it was like a way of fighting in the wrong manner against something that was unrighteous and dangerous for my soul. You have some kids who actually concede to that. They say, like say for instance, a little boy start kissing them, they'll start kissing the little boy back. But in my case, every time something happened, where once some girl tried to sexually entice me. I'm talking about this is young, 6 years old. I slap her in the head, or I'll be like, "That's nasty," and you want to beat them. I was watching a video about the two white girls and the two white women in London, and how the two white women were openly showing their affection on a public bus now, and the children attacked them. It really reminded me of those early days in my life where we as children know what's right and wrong, but we don't know. We have an idea of what's right and wrong, but we don't have the articulate ability to articulate as we do now. And so when those children see these two homosexuals, gay lesbians, kissing in public, I can only imagine how it may have messed with their soul, with their mind. They're disgusted by it, and they're fighting against it in a physical manner because we know that two women with each other is bad. Now, when I was young, we're taught to believe that having threesomes and seeing women kiss is good. It's really an orgy. And in that orgy, there are demons there that are just loving the fact that you are all swapping, saliva and changing bodily fluids, and you're just feeding the lust of the flesh. And I feel for these young people because we are in a time where people are trying to force sexual immorality upon you. And they're trying to label you a homophobic. Have you noticed now at the end of everything you don't like or that's ungodly, they put ophobic, Islamophobic, homophobic, Is there Christianophobics? Why do people hate Christianity? Because it's righteousness. It's good. It's lovely. It's peace. It flies in the face of a society, of a world that tells you masculinity is guns and masculinity is beards and masculinity is MMA fighting. I laugh at it because I don't feel bad for the lesbian couple, because it's just like if I was a married couple and my wife wanted to start kissing in public, I tell her no, we don't do that, because we don't know who is on that bus, or we don't know what someone else is thinking when they subject us, when we subject them to our sexual passions. It may be a man on that bus that hasn't had sex in a while. It may be a woman on that bus or a person on that bus that hates to see the happiness of a married couple. See, what's going on, brothers, is God is letting the demons have their heyday. You see it all over the place. It breaks my heart because, it's in St. Louis. They had 2 boys burn the gay flag. Now, this should not even be mainstream news, but have you noticed that everything LGBT is mainstream now? Everything is mainstream about LGBTs. It's like, hate, we love each other. Look, I know what love is. And I know that love, if it's not of a spiritual nature, they are no different from loving an animal or a tree in a lustful fashion. It's even more disgraceful that they want us to watch them exchanging their passion in public. That's gay pride. That was a miniature gay act of gay pride. That was their liberating act. The lesbians were liberating themselves from their confinement by imposing their sexual orientation upon the world. You see, brothers, ask yourselves, what is the next move that's written in the Bible? The Great Tribulation. What is supposed to take place before the Great Tribulation? The rapture. Now ask yourself, what would demons do? What would Satan do if the next move is the Great Tribulation and the pre-rapture? Because we're already suffering as a church. This is already a form of suffering because you see churches succumbing so fast to this demonic onslaught. It's a shame. You see churches apologizing to homosexuals when it's only empowering them to continue to march in their lewd manner down the street in front of your child. They taking a young white child, I don't like to say race. They're taking a young child, young boy, and they have this boy twerking. Do you get what I'm saying? The spiritual blindness, God is blinding them. God is blinding them, and there are those who want to be blind. Now, what would Satan's demons, what would Satan's organization do if the rapture is imminent? First, he would put out grand deception into the world in order to keep you or any other saint from being pulled into the kingdom, into the church. Taken out of this great tribulation, he's going to send mass deception, and God's going to allow it because it's a test. He's going to convince the people that are actually called, that they are meant to preach. He's going to convince them by sending demonic thoughts into their minds and capturing their attention. What would demons do? Demons will start to entice the flesh, the lust of the flesh, moving into arenas of public service, schools, libraries, government structures, appealing to the nature of to the human fallen carnal nature of the human being, because most people don't want to believe the Bible. They don't. What would demons do? They would call it gay pride, but yet you can't be prideful to be a heterosexual. They would say you are intolerant, and they will ostracize you. They would use their human vessels that they control, and they would ostracize you. They would demand that your church allows them into that building where all the other believers are at. Why don't they go make their own church? Why do homosexuals have to infiltrate everything? They did have a homosexual manifesto. I read it a while ago. You think that manifest isn't something that's naturally embedded in the homosexual? It's not that every homosexual is even consciously obeying the manifest. Look it up. It's some type of gay manifest by Michael somebody. I done forgot. But have you noticed when they move into their arenas, when they move into their particular offices, they're supporting other homosexuals, LGBT. It's an agenda. Have you noticed that when homosexuals come out, they look at the term used, come out. Coming out of what? Coming out of shame, coming out of darkness. You know what coming out really indicates? Victory on their behalf. Coming out means they are free now to spread the message of unnatural love to everyone else. And then you have a world full of people with open arms. Whose world is this to begin with? Whose world? It's God's world. It's God's creation. But that's why the wheat from the tares is being taking place. See, what happened to me was a lot of you guys are going through this. You're dealing with demonic warfare. Be conscious of it. Be conscious of your thoughts. Be conscious of your feelings. Be conscious of your loyalties. Be conscious of the misteachings, the old, like they say, old wise fables, and people who believe that by their own will, even though they pray, they think that they're going to still just waltz up into the kingdom of heaven. Beware. What would demons do? Demons will go into your school and create curriculums teaching your children Lord morality. You know why? Now here's a theory on my behalf. Every day I ride through a particular neighborhood, the church flies a transsexual flag and the so-called rainbow flag of pride. Church. The same area I ride through, my daughter goes to that church, to that school. The same school she goes to teaches the same curriculum that's in the church, which hold the people who go to the schools and they teach the children. So guess who I lost to the system? My daughter. Guess who else did I lose to the gay alliance system? My nephew. Guess now how I'm ostracized from my family because I don't accept it. So on my birthday, the one who stands for what is right, I wasn't contacted by one member of my family. But am I angry? No. Am I a little sad? Perhaps. I'm more sad, more so that this is the separation. Wheat from the tares. I believe a lot of these videos that are being left behind, like people like me, are going to be testimonies when we are taken off of this planet. I tell you the truth. The homosexual agenda, the women abnormal behavior, fighting viciously for the right to destroy their children in the womb. Now here's what's even more disturbing. The men advocated. These are their children. They call them white knights or emasculated males. They call them type of males useless. They have no masculinity about them, no spiritual nature about them. They are dangerous. They are allowing women to change the natural gender of their children. Do you think that this is do you think that this is even normal? This is atypical behavior that's being supported by governments, companies, everything. List them. Celebrities, everybody that is so-called believing this nonsense of religions coexisting. Scriptures tell you all that nonsense, Satan's going to wipe it off. And he's going to say, y'all going to bow down to me one day. All your religions is going to be gone. And Satan's going to say, worship me, after he reaches the pinnacle to where he needs to be. I tell you now, what else would demons do? Demons would lower the morality so much to where radio stations are playing this lewd, misogynist music, ungodly, with ungodly music. What would demons do? Infiltrate the buildings, because the church body, don't forget, isn't the building. The church body is right here, inside of me. So as the demons infiltrate the church, guess who gets affected? Every member in the church becomes affected by spiritual dancing. Who are these children dancing and praising? Spinning around with little bitty skirts on? See, when I realized that I was never going to reach my family, I stopped trying. Because I realized that they don't want to be reached. Then I realized my family is my church. And I make this video for the people of that church, which is the church of the Lord. If my family decided to repent right now, I would repent and open my arms to them. But I think it's a little too late, brothers. I think it's about to go down. Demonic warfare is so prevalent. You can see it in society. Young women, I know like I say, walking around with Ouija boards. I've heard young women tell me Illuminati is my religion. I've seen young women. I remember when God let me go back out into the world in my early stages before I become solid. Young women half my age didn't have no problem being sexual with me, with friends, with anybody. Right now, a Jezebel has attached herself to me. She hunts me down everywhere I go, refusing to set me free. Women, look at what's happening to the woman. I'm not part of a culture. The black culture destroying themselves with tattoos and long hair for the men and saggy pants. Not realizing that some homosexual out there, some dude with the same look got a homosexual spirit on him, looking right at your butt. Then you got the women that's putting on fake accessories. It's not just the black people. I'm in Texas, and I've seen it all over the place. Women with heavy makeup on their face, looking like the iconic Jezebel of the Bible. What she would appear to look. I'm gonna tell you, young brothers, the mass deception is here. I believe before the Great Tribulation, Satan is taking the called, the ones who are called and elected, but they're not chosen yet. And he's planting seed. And the demons that's on them, they are just like Marcus. Marcus Rogers is a good example. And I'm not picking on the brother. I swear to you, it ain't got nothing to do with me personally or him personally. but I see it everywhere I go. I see it everywhere I go because I've been there. I've dealt with the demons and still deal, because you never stop dealing with them. Now, my theory is this. For me to continue to deal with the demon means something is going to happen. You just don't deal with demons, bro, all day long. You don't get ostracized from your family. You don't go through things like that. You don't go through things like that unless something is trying to prepare you for something that is to come, or it has a purpose behind it. Yeah, young brothers, the mass deception is here. Gay parades go down the block. Scantily clad children looking puzzled and confused. Here's what's happening. Children are the adults now. Are they not? Children are the adults. My daughter told me, you homophobic. Didn't have enough. None of them respected me because they think they know what's happening. They don't believe that Satan has an agenda that he's sticking to, creating anger and lust and dissension, all these things that are written in the Bible. He's doing it. And when the people ally together, it's a loose connection. There's no love there. They ally based on their hate. They ally based on what they perceive life to be. You know what's funny is I go onto YouTube and see all these people using their gray matter to understand something spiritual. The Bible said, he shall take the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. So I hear these people with these great and grand vocabulary trying to explain something in a secular manner,